For many single guys, the fear of rejection used to be their biggest worry when it came to dating. But now many men say they are wrestling with a new anxiety, the fear of being falsely accused of sexual assault due to miscommunication, with some even now asking their dates to sign so-called consent contracts.
When I go out on dates, I take Snapchats that include location and timestamps.
So my date just fell asleep. She had communicated to me that she wanted to sleep together. I kind of get the feeling that she doesn't.
We didn't end up sleeping together at all.
I want to protect myself. I was always taught to have evidence and receipts.
There is a large degree of fear. Maybe someone could kind of turn around and, after a fully consensual experience, accuse you of something. I don't like to inherently get receipts from everyone.
There's always that hint of fear that comes with that, of like, oh my God, when we wake up the next morning, is she going to change her tune? Honestly, when it comes to that, there isn't a lot you can do to protect yourself.
Joining us from Parkland, Florida is Brandon Dasent, and Matt Cutrara joins us from his home in Toronto, Canada. Thank you both for joining us. Brandon, let me start off with you. You say that you are afraid of being, quote, me too'd, that keeping receipts like Snapchatting and time stamping your location are the things that you need to protect yourself. Obviously, this is a reaction to some of the things that you've seen in the news.
Yes, that's correct. I even personally have had to deal with certain circumstances of people trying to either change the narrative or completely falsely accuse me of something that I didn't do.
And I should make the point, obviously, statistics are that most cases, people who accuse someone are not falsely accusing. With that said, we do know that people have been falsely accused. So before you start tweeting me and writing me saying this, we're already putting that on the table out there. But Matt, you say that you thoroughly vet your dates in a public place before taking them home, but you also keep what y'all are calling these receipts on the dates. When did you start doing that?
I started keeping my receipts.
Go ahead, Brandon. When did you start?
I started keeping my receipts since as soon as I started dating, probably sophomore, junior year of high school.
Matt, when did you start? And was there a moment that you felt like, okay, I better start documenting everything?
Yeah, I probably maybe a year or two ago, I've always been pretty paranoid about consent. And so I try and do everything I can in a more conversational way to make sure that there's no misleading or traversing of boundaries and expectations, that everything's clear.
I know, Brandon, this is also very personal for you. You were in local headlines back in 2019 when you actually had to step in and rescue a young woman who was reportedly drugged and sexually assaulted. How did that experience, seeing firsthand, you know, saving someone, how did that impact how you view dating and your dating life?
Well, I could say that as someone who was raised by women, I've always had the ambition not to fight for women, but to fight with women. What happened on that night only enhanced that ambition. It reinforced my belief that this world can be a truly dark, cruel place, especially for women, and that people need to do whatever they can to make the world more sufferable for others, regardless of your gender.
Matt, in your diary that you gave us, you were going to be intimate, have sex on your date. Well, the date spent the night, but she changed her mind, you say, and she told you why she didn't want to have sex, but you still asked to be intimate sexually. Why was her first no not enough? Or how did you process? That's not a fair question. How did you process that first no?
It was very confusing to me because she had been like really excited specifically about the sex beforehand, and her being like a very shy person, I guess I just wanted to I wanted to make sure that the no wasn't just because of being shy, and so to just like ask her again, essentially, I didn't see as like kind of traversing her boundaries. And so when she, also said no again, I was just like, okay, cool, no,
I
no
mean,
issues.
listen, I know we're almost out of time, and I'm going to go on, but I have to say, I did a special on date rape, on investigation discovery, and one of the stories that I did was a young man who'd gone on a date. They were intimate. The next morning, they woke up. The young lady did not want him to touch, was recoiling at him. He did not realize it. She never said anything, nor did she have to. But later, he went to a rape counselor and said, I think that I date rape someone. She's not spoken to me again. He was ready to turn himself into authorities. But the lines in his mind were blurred. He was not the guy jumping out of an alley attacking someone. It was exactly what you experienced, where you didn't think you were doing something that certainly she was uncomfortable with. But yeah, shout out to both of you for getting up here and telling your stories, because I know this is a hot button, especially for young men, young people who can be judged by what you're saying. So thank you both for revealing, pulling the curtain back on what it's like for you in your dating life. Thank you to Brandon and Matt